Hey guys! Last month I made a combination video of a wrap-up, a review for the music of what happens, and a challenge jar drawing. If you guys don't know what my challenge jar is, I do something like a reading bingo page each year. I don't really share it on YouTube or really anywhere. Well, on Instagram. I do post it on Instagram. But I just come up with a bunch of like challenges, like read an ARC, read a used book, read a book I got from a subscription box, just stuff like that to dwindle down my TBR in like specific areas. I have this set up to where I pull 2 of these out every month and I complete those challenges in that month. Or at least, hopefully, I finish in that month. If I don't, they roll over into the next month. And for those of you who did watch that video, I actually ended up painting book jar on here because I really didn't like how plain it looked. To start this video, let's go over the challenges and the books that I read for January. So the first challenge I had in January was to read a new release. And by new release, it had to be 3 months before January, 3 months after January, if I have an arc of a book. Or it had to be in like December, January, or February. Any like variation of a 3-month period around the current month I was in is what I was allowing. And for this challenge, I decided to read The Darkest Star by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in a new duology by her, and it takes place in the same world as the Lux series. And it also follows my favorite main character, or he wasn't really a main character in the Lux series, but he follows my favorite character from the Lux series, Luke. And if you guys have watched my reading vlog, you know I spoiled the hell out of myself for this book, and while I was reading that, on one hand I was happy that I spoiled myself afterwards, like as soon as I got a little further in, because there was just so much confusion. I mean, everything was just like question after question after question, and it's like we're not getting any real answers until like the very end where we finally started to get answers. And then it was just really frustration because it's like we were building up to this whole time, and you could have just told us near the beginning and we could have just spent time doing things, because the first part of this book, nothing happened. Well, little things happened, like the fact that Luke's club was raided, and that was interesting, I guess, to a point, but it's like also after that, it's like, but between that and the first murder that takes place in this book, there's really nothing that happens other than you're getting to know the character, which is nice and all, but it was also really boring. So if I was to compare this to all of her books that I've read, and I've read let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've read 8 of her books, not counting this one, so this one makes 9. Comparison to all of those, this was very dull, and it took longer to get through than I was anticipating, and that was, it's not my favorite book in the series. Luke is still one of my favorite characters, but this is still not my favorite book. Kind of liked it. I gave it like a 3.5 stars, mainly because of how everything tied together with the murder and all of the things that we saw that I believe is going to be foreshadowed for the second book. I mean, it wasn't a bad book. I was just bored in like the beginning part of it. On to the second challenge. The second challenge was to read a book written by a booktuber. Now, to be completely honest, I was hoping I would get this challenge later on, like in May when Christine's book's coming out, because I put that on there mainly so I would read Zenith, but I was like, if it comes during that month, I can just read Christine's book and I can like save Zenith for another time. But unfortunately, I ended up drawing this challenge way too early for that, so I am currently reading Zenith. This was also in my January vlog. I'm not actually sure if that is up at this point in time or not, because I'm still in the process of editing it. It's going to be actually in 2 parts because there's like so much to film, or there's so much that I filmed that needs to be edited, and it's going to be a long process. So if you guys want to know, like, I think I stopped before I even got to 200 pages on my vlogging of reading this book. You guys are really interested in that. I will leave links in the description box below so you can go check them out. But like I said, I'm not sure if this video will be going up first or that one. But I'm still currently reading this book. I'm on chapter 72, which is page 430. So I have like a little over 100 pages left. And I really can't tell you like all of my thoughts for this book because I have so much left to read. I can tell you I just got to where they ruin the plot twist of the book, because that wasn't really foreshadowing, that was just blatantly telling us what's going to happen. That was kind of annoying. But I will say this, if you guys can see the amount of tabs that are in this book, I'm going to be discussing pretty much all of these in my discussion video. If that may be another 2-part video, I don't know, it depends, because there's a lot I want to say. But you may notice that the tabs get fewer the further we go in, because I will admit the second part of this book is better than the first part, and by first part I mean like the first 300 pages. The pacing of this book is horrendous, which is I think my main problem with it at this point. The pacing is horrible, the book overall is boring, and I'm ready to be done with it. But like I said, the second half of the book is better. The pacing does pick up. It's still bad, but it gets better. But moving on from that, let's go ahead and choose the challenges for February. This is going to be a shorter month, so I hope to get really easy challenges. And let's go. The first challenge is to read a fairy tale retelling. This was something I wanted to read a lot of last year, but I think I only actually read like 3, and I'm not exactly sure what fairy tale retelling I want to read, because there's a couple of new ones that are supposed to be coming out, so I'll have to think on this. Next up, a book that has been on your TBR for at least a year. This challenge is not going to be very hard because, like, a lot of the books I have on my shelves have been on there for over a year. I mean, some are just older books that I've like bought from like half-price books and such, but there's a lot of books and a lot of series that I know have been on my shelves for way too long. This is probably going to be a mood read. I'm going to see what mood I'm in after I read Zenith, and I'm just going to pick up that book from there. Because if I'm in a reading slump mood, I may pick up something that's going to be like really short. But if I'm actually in a mood to like read and read and read, then I may pick up a series instead. But I'm also not 100% sure about reading a series either, because currently, while I'm reading Zenith, I have become heavily re-addicted to the anime Code Lyoko. If you guys don't know what Code Lyoko is, it was on Cartoon Network as a kid. I believe it was Cartoon Network. I don't know. It's been so long. But it's a French anime, and it is terrific. I absolutely loved it growing up, and it's been so long since I've watched it. There's actually like a live action that's after the first 4 seasons that is still in French. I'm going to have to find, actually I think I did find the subbed version to that. I'm gonna have to, it's not actually, it's fan subbed and not like actual confirmed subtitles, so that's probably just what I'm gonna have to watch, because I don't think they're ever gonna come out with the English version of it. So yeah, I become addicted to that, so that will probably help me to decide what books I'm actually gonna be reading next month, because if I want to watch that, I know I'm going to just become heavily addicted to that, probably read a whole bunch of fan fiction, and I won't actually feel like reading much. So I may read shorter books in February. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everything I wanted to say in this video. I think I'm just going to go read another 30 to 50 pages of Zenith and then probably call it a night. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!